And good morning. Welcome to Colona Now Live. It's Jason Mann with Jim Check for your Friday morning. We'll have your weekend weather forecast on the way in just a couple of seconds. First off, let's dig into the headlines. And
hold on. First off, welcome to December.
And look at the snow. Look at the snow.
There it is.
We don't. I don't owe anybody a coffee for a wrong forecast.
I think you owe this 3-1.
Our top story, Colona Restaurant has decided to shut down, blaming the lack of government support after the wildfires.
That's two restaurants that have been around for a while in Colona that have given that news this past week. That's sad news for sure. Jax on Bernard. I think a lot of people have been to Jax. So we had a Christmas party there one year too.
And this is part of a restaurant group, so they're a bit, they have some depth, and they can kind of have some resilience, but still.
They will close at the end of 2023. I think they're going to have a New Year's kind of like last hurrah. Owner Casey Gabriel said Jax was part of an unconventional hospitality group with a remarkable 5-year run that opened on Canada in 2018. So all the staff has been kind of put around into the other places. Pretty Not Bad, Salt and Brick, and Diner Deluxe on Gyro Beach there. Mm-hmm. Staff will be finding work there. But again, they're inviting patrons down there for a memorable closing celebration on New Year's Eve from 5 until late. I imagine that's going to be a party.
All right.
But again, sad news, though, that's two restaurants in a week that are closing because of the difficulties in the with COVID and then with the wildfires and all that stuff. It's just really, really tough, right? On not just the restaurant industry, many, many industries.
Yeah, I think in that story there, it talks about a $100,000 loss through the 4 weeks during and after the fire. That's huge, right?
You can read that whole story on colonanow.com.
Yeah. We have a video, big worries about tiny homes. Kent Mulgat out on the road, taking a look at the newest location announced for tiny homes in Colona.
The City of Colona and BC Housing have now identified the second of 2 locations where they'll be putting in tiny homes for people experiencing homelessness. And it's here on the 2700 block of Highway 97 North.
We look at sites for a variety of reasons. Predominantly, it's land accessibility. So the available land that the city owns for which utilities can be brought to it in a rather quick manner. So that was the case for this site, as it was with our Crowley location, the first site.
Plus, I'm thinking if you were to put something like this right in a residential neighborhood, well, there could be some serious hue and cry.
Change to a neighborhood is absolutely something that we consider, right? And it's definitely can be difficult for folks. And this one is really more about accessibility to other services, access to transit, and that always isn't the case necessarily in a high dense neighborhood.
Unfortunately, we have had some issues with theft in the past. Not only on our lot here, we also have another lot in this circle, and we've dealt with theft on boats. Typically, people coming in and removing stereo equipment, things of value to them that's fairly easy to take. And unfortunately for us, it causes a problem because now we either have to put it through our insurance or through a customer's insurance, which you never like to have the conversation about, right?
So big problems with theft, and now this.
And now this, yeah. And I mean, we were just brought this was just came to our attention, and unfortunately it's in an area that's almost directly beside us here, and as if we don't deal with enough issue, I think there's possibility for that to become more of a problem for us moving forward.
I think it'd be tough to find a place where there wouldn't be maybe some issue, coming out of
the little structures are described as a safe, warm place by BC Housing Minister Ravi Kablon. And they're going in the 2700 block of Highway 97. You can kind of tell from the video there with Kent there. So
this is interesting. The Canadian military has filed a report talking about whales and the impact of underwater noise, particularly marine noise, shipping and military noise.
They're saying it's not plastic, petrochemicals, or other chemical toxins. It's noise.
Yeah, that's
from ships and boats and. So there are activities like shipping. So I don't know what you're supposed to do there.
It's kind of interesting. I guess slow down. This is the question. Can Canadian downtowns find new purpose in an post-office era? So not post-office.
When I first saw the story, I'm just like, so nobody uses the post office, do they? But they're saying post-office. Yes. So like, and we see it here in this building. Less and less people are coming to work on a regular basis.
Lots of companies have gone virtual.
I know of a company that's not going to be renewing their lease in here because they said most people are not coming to work. And then so there's a lot of commercial real estate, and the impacts of this are really strong in the U.S., and I imagine it's going to filter through here too. But it also really hurts the businesses that are in that area, right? You know, the businesses that relied on the people. Again, they're really seeing this magnified in places like New York, where people, dry cleaning, restaurants, all that kind of stuff, where there's less people coming in. So obviously that means less for the businesses that are too. And then some of the larger institutions in the U.S. have basically said you got to come back to work, not just to come back to work for productivity, but to come back to work so the other businesses in the area can survive as well. So they're saying downtown street front business vacancies range from 11 to 14% in cities such as Toronto, Montreal, Victoria, and Halifax. Edmonton and Winnipeg have vacancy rates as high as 33%. So maybe there's an opportunity to convert some of these office spaces, which they've never done before, to residential.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And
just reshift the mix.
There's all these things that they've always said you can't have people living in commercial buildings, and then we got this housing issue. But why don't we allow?
It's okay to live on the street, though.
Yeah. Why don't we allow some of these commercial spaces to be used for residential? I mean, there's a whole bunch sitting empty right now.
Yeah, it's just
even the leader of the opposition said he would convert lots of government buildings to housing. Which seems to make sense. If they got buildings that are sitting vacant or not being used, then why wouldn't we convert those to housing?
Those people that own those buildings would have revenue coming in. The businesses that are in those areas would have customers and people nearby.
I mean, it's another one of those
homes. I don't know where's the lose here.
Another one of those common sense kind of solutions that don't seem to resonate with people. Anyway. Yeah.
Another Canadian institution, maybe under some
CUS Whistleblower.
Yeah, there's some concerns at CUS. A whistleblower says that she hopes that she has lit a match with allegations of rape and harassment in BC.
So that's Justin Trudeau called the allegations devastating and said everyone should feel protected at work no matter how secretive their duties. This is something that should not be going on, especially in an organization such as CUS, which is law and order, basically.
Yeah.
Breaking the law. Like, that seems odd. No?
Agreed. Housing dominates the BC legislative session with next election less than 1 year away. So that's the hot topic in the legislature Thursday.
Yeah, so they're going to be talking about housing, but we just gave them a good idea.
Take it and run.
Why don't they jump on that one? Take a look at all these small towns that have tons of lots and places where they can build, and also take a look at office spaces and many places that people could be moved into. And maybe some of the government buildings that are empty where people aren't coming to work. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
If you buy anti-wrinkle cream, you'll want to listen to this. More than 10,000 jars of anti-wrinkle cream have been recalled due to a microbial hazard.
I haven't bought any yet.
Microbial.
Perhaps I do need some as I age. I could use some anti-wrinkle cream, but not that one, I guess.
They don't work.
They don't work? Well, no. There you go. Marcy tells us it doesn't work. So just
and this
be
one
you.
In particular.
Right?
Be you and embrace your aging.
There you go. Be me.
But for real, buying wrinkle cream is kind of stupid. If I'm being honest, it doesn't work.
Well,
fashion tips and beauty tips for your Friday morning. Thanks, Marcy.
God knows I need some beauty tips.
That's what you've been doing wrong, huh? Another product recall to talk about in BC as the deadly salmonella outbreak continues. So we've been talking about this for now.
I think just avoid the cantaloupe for a while.
Yeah.
Right? Just like...
this is
I don't eat a lot of cantaloupe.
Mixed melon chunks in 7-Eleven
Do you know where I usually
stores.
eat cantaloupe? If you go to a hotel or to a function, they usually put out a lot of melon because I think it's
cheaper.
Volume and it's cheaper, right? So you see and you're just like, where?
2 blueberries and...
2 blueberries, a raspberry, and this 15 melons, right? And this is the biggest news, best news. I've done this many times, and the kids love it.
What does that look like? It's Candy Cane Lane, which will light up tonight.
There you go. Have you taken the kids ever?
We have. It's 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 a little duck and dodge because there's some people who like to walk it and there's some people who like to drive it. We like to walk it, so we
I think we got to get Nick and Marcy out there to drive it and record it.
There you go.
Do a little Candy Cane Lane tour. We've done that in the past. I've done it with Savannah many times. So that's in Rutland. This will be the 13th year for Candy Cane Lane.
And it looks like
it
it'll
started
be
with a
white.
couple of neighbors, right? The guy on the corner there where the food box is. I don't know, do we have that picture with the food box? No? Anyway, he's the guy that started it.
I didn't know that.
Well, I think there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. That's the guy that organizes it. So Candy Cane Lane lights up from 5 to 10:30 p.m. every night in December until the decorations are taken down and put into storage on New Year's Day. So like I said, kids love it. It's a couple blocks. You kind of got to wind around. I think a few of the houses in some of the other blocks have kind of like bought into a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of see some stuff. I mean, it's a big job a lot of them are doing, and it's, can't be easy on the power rail either.
No.
So there you go.
And we are expecting a white weekend here with 20 centimeters of snow expected on the Coquihalla and Highway 3.
Yeah, so again, winter tires. Our friends at Reach Tire.
Yes, if you haven't got those winter tires on, reach out to Reach Tire. They will help you out. They're great. And if you want to learn more about what they do, we've got some articles in the sponsor content section on
And
Colona.
the Roads Report brought to you by CSN Collision Centers. Isn't that true?
It is.
There you go.
And Colona students are gearing up for the 6th annual Turkey Drive later this month.
Is that a picture of you there?
No.
The turkey?
Thanks, Jim.
Oh, that was low.
That was low.
So students at Immaculata Regional High School are gearing up for their 6th annual Turkey Drive in support of the Central Okanagan Food Bank. We're flipping through images here. On December 15th, they'll be set up to accept turkey and cash, with all the funds going directly towards the purchase of more turkeys. The goal this year for the students is 250 turkeys for the Christmas food hampers, which will help feed those in need. And God knows that a lot of people are in need right now.
And turkey is particularly costly these days.
Turkeys are costly, and it's also like I guess a tradition. And some people feel if they don't have that they kind of don't have a complete Christmas. But
Yeah, tradition kind of.
yeah, so it is a Christmas tradition for sure. I know that for Thanksgiving, it was just me and my wife, and we just had chicken. Anyway, now we got some sports.
Colona Skating Club has a tremendous showing in a weekend competition.
Figure skaters from the Colona Skating Club are back home after a dominant weekend of competition, and that the club was in Chase, BC. Big Chase, just outside of Kamloops there, for the Okanagan Interclub competition, sweeping the podium on a pair of occasions en route to capturing 19 medals. Wow, congratulations.
Well done.
You can go to the colonanow.com website, and you can see the list of winners.
Alberta is set for a $5.5 billion budget surplus despite big bucks for fires, floods, and drought. How do they do that?
Danielle Smith has on track for a record $5.5 billion surplus. And not a lot of provinces that can say that. So they've been attracting tons of people for business. They've been attracting a ton of people for living there. Cost of living is lower. Cost of gasoline is lower. And lots of businesses. I mean, I watched that quite closely. They've been announcing bigger and bigger companies moving into that. And they're getting a lot of tech companies now, too, in Calgary. Calgary's a beautiful city.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
It sure
Vibrant.
is. We're working on this story, this next one.
Unemployment rate rises to 5.8% in November as the job market continues to cave.
Yeah, we're seeing layoff notices, like we talked about TD Bank.
2,000.
They only made just under $3 billion, and they're raising the dividends, and they laid off 3,000 people. But we're seeing that in many, many companies. That I think there's two factors running here. Like AI is starting to take some jobs, and also post-COVID, some people aren't coming to work, so some employers are just like, well, we're going to cut back. And then just the market conditions themselves. So we've seen our GDP
Shrinking a bit.
well, it was negative. So the Bank of Canada better have a reality check and start dropping those interest rates, because a lot of mortgages are coming due, and that's enough pain that's been inflicted on the common person. And then we're seeing this reflect in gold. Like if you look at gold in the past little while, I don't know if Marcy can pull up some of those charts. That's gold this morning reacting to the ISM numbers out of the U.S. that are lower. And we've been seeing gold on a trajectory over the 30, 60. And
Where do you think gold will go? Do you have a peak gold price target?
Gold typically holds its value, so it's a measure of inflation kind of thing, right? So an old thing like typically way back in the Roman days, an ounce of gold would buy you a suit of armor and a sword and a shield. Back in 1928, it would buy the person a fancy suit, a watch, and all that kind of stuff, and all the fine fixings. And today, Canadian gold, that's the U.S. prices you're seeing there. Canadian, it's around $2,800. So you can get yourself still a pretty nice suit and watch and all, you know what I mean? Like you can get yourself fixed up pretty nice. Can't say the same thing about the dollar, right? Because in in 1928, the dollar would get you a lot. Today, I don't even know if you can get parking.
You can't even get a Slurpee.
Yeah, anyway. So it is definitely a measure of inflation. I do think we're at risk of deflation as we move along. With technology will fuel deflation as we move along. So I think the government now has to be more worried about deflation than they are worried about inflation. And again, if you take a look at some of the food prices and then you go look at some of the financial information from some of the big grocers, again, record profits, record salaries, and yet that's not being passed on to the consumer, right? So I think they did a big thing in the U.S. yesterday, and they did a study, and they're saying that many of the food grocers in the U.S. have been taking advantage of people, talking about supply chain disruptions and that. Those things are done. So then why aren't the prices back down? So instead of I think the Trudeau government said they want to get people to freeze the prices at the high prices. Who's doing that negotiating? Anyway, those prices need to come down. And then from our EV AI file, the Tesla Cybertruck was revealed yesterday, and then even now out comes all the aftermarket stuff. They have an app store, kind of like a build store, so all the aftermarket stuff's already out. So this one is a camping thing where you put it up. It's got solar panels built into it. If you get a chance and if you want to see some pretty cool stuff, so they ran this Cybertruck against a Porsche 911. It beat the Porsche 911 while it was towing a Porsche 911. It beat
He's saucy.
It beat the Rivian, the F-150 Lightning, and a Ford F-350 in a towing contest. And I mean, it had some pretty good reviews. I think a lot of the analysts are saying it's expensive right now, but I mean, they have 2.1 million back orders according to some people out there. So obviously they're going to probably make the people that want them soon pay a little bit more for them. I think the prices will come down on these trucks as well.
What's the list price?
I think the lowest on the U.S. site, the lowest one was which isn't being made yet, the rear-wheel drive, because it comes in 3 configurations: rear-wheel drive, the dual motor, all-wheel drive, and then the beast mode, which is the tri-motor, which is just crazy. So the beast one is at $99 US. The rear-wheel drive truck is going to come in around $49 after incentives. I think they got a $7,500 incentive in the US, where we have a $5,000 incentive here in Canada. And then I think the all-wheel drive one comes in, I think it was $69 after the rebate. So, but the feedback from many people out there that got to be there, and CarWow is doing a thing on it. They're driving one today. So if you're really interested in the guy on CarWow does some amazing stuff. So he reviews all kinds of cars. Watch him. He's doing a review today. They gave him a truck to test and drive and stuff like that. So, and Sandy Monroe was there as well, the engineer that does a lot of work, tears these things apart. And lots of people at the event for sure. It could change that pickup truck segment, right?
Wow.
So, but supposedly there's tons and tons of accessories. That looks pretty cool. It
Yeah,
looks
it
like
does.
it's on the moon, doesn't it? Do you, Sandy,
does look a
Marcy's
little bit
shaking
like
her
a-
head. Would you drive that?
You would, yeah.
A lot of people saying that it's ugly.
No, it's not.
It's unusual.
It's cool.
Well, I mean, people line up for pictures. They're lining up to get in there to have a look at it. So, I mean, if they're, I have my name in for one, and I'll take one.
Can you picture me driving that?
I could.
Yep.
You
You
guys
just
are
need a
lying.
little step ladder to get in and out.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe in there they give you an elevator. Who knows? We have another from our X-Files this morning. We have a humorist, I think he's trying to be sarcastic or humorous. The leader of the opposition with a humorous or sarcastic tweet. Not sure what he meant there, but he said 70,000 high-carbon, high-flying hypocrites jet to a gigantic air-conditioned conference in Dubai in the desert with the goal of saving the world from pickup trucks. They're not going to like that. But, I mean, that is one really, that's the story in the National Post. There you go. So that was an opinion piece out of the National Post.
Holding a climate conference in a petro state chaired by the
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like all the money, all those buildings were fueled by
oil
and gas. And they're there to stop oil and gas. Seems like a weird place, no? But it is one of the, I guess, richest places in the world, right? But they also, I think, a lot of their citizens benefit from the royalties from oil and gas.
I don't think they have like a hot homelessness.
Do you know what I mean? If you
there,
did kind of that here, you gave the royalties to our young people.
Yeah. Help them get into homes.
What a better world that would be. Who knows, right? Again, common sense stuff. You want to talk about auction or the weather?
Auction, no?
Auction's done?
Done.
Okay.
Oh, it's December 1st.
There you go. Yeah. So, weather.
Yes.
Look at that. She's got a weather picture for you.
5-day weather forecast brought to you by ATB Wealth. Realize your vision of wealth at ATB.com.
Is that our webcam?
That is, yeah.
Look at that. So if you ever want to look at what we see out of the window there, so the Landmark 6 weather cam is streams. You can make time lapses too.
You just cut me off in the middle of the sponsor credit, though.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
There you go. You can start over and they got like 1.5 credits. I was just so impressed by the photo.
Where are we going to start here? I'll do it at the end of the weather. How about that? Do it at the end. As you can see, we have had some snow. We are in for some more snow flurries today. High of 0, so we'll make for some slippery conditions throughout the day potentially. I know up in Cal Valley, above the snow line there, where it's still sticking, it was very slippery this morning, and as got into the valley, it's bare and not as slippery. But I think we could see those slippery conditions return here at some point today throughout the valley, and certainly by tonight and tomorrow as we look across the 5-day weather forecast for the weekend. We are calling for more snow, and which is great news for Big White. High of 0 basically for the weekend, 0 to 1, so that snow's going to stick around. Overnight lows down to -4, -3. Tuesday, it's going to turn maybe into some showers and some warmer temperatures down here in the valley with a high of 7 degrees, but lots of wet stuff on the way over the next week.
And that weather was brought to you by
ATB Wealth. Realize your vision of wealth at atb.com/wealth Colona.
There you go. And when is the light up in, when's the parade in Kettle Valley?
That's tomorrow, and we'll be live streaming on
And you're going to be there
TikTok.
live streaming?
Yeah.
You're going to have your 3 little ones with you?
Temps promote wet on ice.
What?
Temps promote wet on ice.
Not sure what that means.
That's a comment. I think it's these temperatures promote the slippery conditions.
Oh,
it's like a curling rink, right? The closer to 0
right.
or
how's the Kona doing in the?
I got the studded tires on, so
yeah?
I can get around.
There you go.
Yeah.
So until we have somebody coming in today to talk about volunteering.
We also have Natasha by a little bit later on today as well.
Is it Saturday already?
No. There's a fair this weekend, so we're doing a lunch hour special today.
And we're back at 4:00 with the news. Until then, stay safe and stay warm, I guess, too. Yeah. Make sure, snow shovels, window scrapers, and the washer fluid in your car should be the ones with the antifreeze in it. Don't just put water in your windshield washer fluid right now, because that will not work out for you.
And really, just the biggest thing is really just taking an extra 5 minutes to leave to get out the door and get
good boots,
safe.
Proper boots too when you're going back and forth to work.
Don't be in a rush.
So, right, and then be extra careful if you end up shoveling.
Yeah.
Right.
Had the shovel this morning.
There you go.
All right, we'll be back later on, and have a great day otherwise.